when we start to market ourselves, we start to put ourselves out there, it's kind of scary. And just being kind of vulnerable to know that it's, might not be perfect, but it is a step in like helping you just get started.
Hi, I'm Terrell Turner, the host of the Business Talk Library, and today I have a great guest on. Now, if you've been watching all of the posts that we've been doing, you saw that I was on her show earlier in 2021, and it was a great experience. As you know, my background is accounting and finance, so it's always a pleasure when I get to talk with other professionals who aren't in accounting and finance, because then we just get to actually talk like regular human beings instead of some accounting robot. So I always enjoy that. And I want to welcome to the show Ms. Nicole of NB Marketing, a digital marketing agency. So welcome to the show, Nicole.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to connect again because like our chat last time was so much fun.
Absolutely. Well, the fun thing about this chat is it's going to be more about your business, your background, the awesome work that you're doing, not only, with your marketing agency, with the community that you have on Facebook, as well as your podcast. So before we jump into the details of that, can you tell us a little bit about your background and kind of what led up to starting those?
Yeah. So my background has always kind of been in marketing. I've always kind of loved it. When I was an intern, my senior year at LSU, I interned with Microsoft. And so just being able to learn like the strategic and the creative side of marketing, like I loved it. And then from there, my husband and I, well, after we graduated, moved up to the Northwest, bought a little farm and decided to open a brewery in organic farm. So we did that for 7 years. So you do everything as a small business owner, that, we had to do the finances. We did, we grew the vegetables, took care of the animals, did the marketing, all that. And we did that for a while until we actually caused too much traffic and our neighbors weren't that happy. So from there, I went to a digital marketing agency for a few years and then branched out on my own in 2016. And I've been helping businesses across the country, with their marketing needs, whether I coach them how to do it, if they want to do it themselves, or if I do it for them, just because a lot of people aren't really sure what to do or where to get started sometimes. So I just love to help them do that and grow their business.
Awesome. One of the things I'm always curious about, and I have my own opinions about this when it comes down to accounting and finance, what was that change like going from working with a big corporation like, Microsoft and how marketing works there to then going into a small business? What was that like for you?
Yeah. Well, so it's really funny because also too, like when I was doing that for Microsoft, social media wasn't that big. Like it was just kind of starting to come out. So we had to our tactics were different, but our goals were the same. So you just, kind of the same thing, like show up where your customers are. So for us, like doing downloads in college, like you go to where everybody eats food, and back then you had flyers and you put it on, their cars. And so taking what I learned from that, but then just using different tools because, marketing always evolves. But that was just, such a learning experience and just adapting it to a different business.
And I guess, how has it been for you? I mean, just seeing that change, that's happened in marketing, going from, like I said, putting flyers on people's cars to now everything is happening so digitally and so fast.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Yeah, there's so many different platforms and tools and strategies and that are out there, and I think that's where a lot of business owners get confused and they're not really sure where to start. So I do always start with their foundation, which is kind of what I just touched on, like where are they? You got to kind of know where they're hanging out, what their pain points are, how you can connect with them, and then provide solutions, whether that's like free content or your services or things like that. Just being able to provide those different things for them that they're struggling with is really the crux of it.
Now, I guess, do you find that a lot of people, find it difficult to figure that piece of like where their core audience is?
Kind of, because a lot of times when they'll have like a general idea of who they're trying to market to, or some just kind of jump into business because they are so excited about what they have to share. So it's like, okay, where, say they're like retired people, like they're not going to be on Clubhouse or TikTok or, like, or even LinkedIn, they're going to be on Facebook looking at like pictures of their grandkids. So just being able to like really take a little bit of time and think about what their preferences are and where they're hanging out on and offline, their hobbies, just really helps your messaging. It's so much more efficient and effective when you kind of have an idea of who you're talking to.
No, I think that's a really good point, because that's something that I've been like hugely guilty of, is, with my content and stuff, is like we really focused in on, getting really good at LinkedIn. But at the time, I had kind of not spent much time on Facebook at all. It's like I tell my wife, I kind of wrote off Facebook in a way. But one of the things that I've noticed is that, I mean, and you yourself, with having such a interactive community on Facebook, what have you seen kind of, what is really, I guess you said, kept your Facebook community so active and engaged? Because I mean, there's so much great things going on there. So how have you been able to do that with, so many people's attention going to different places?
Yeah, I know Facebook, like, I feel like that's the same kind of thing. A lot of people and a lot of like my clients, like, will start at looking at their analytics and we're like, well, where is your traffic coming from? And most people, they'll post to Facebook just because they kind of have to, or they're already posting to other places. And I'm not kidding. The majority of all of their traffic of social, it's usually from Facebook. Like, people are on there still. They're still, active. I think a lot of people scroll past the ads. And so if you're really banking on like ads, that might not be the way to go. But I don't know, when you have the group, and it's such a different mentality than having a page or even personal. And they have settings to where they get notified when you post. Like, it's just a more intimate way to connect with people. And it's just been really great.
Now, what's the difference between a page and a group? Like, how are those dynamics different?
Yeah, so the page is just like a business page for whatever, the different kind of industries you can set up. And so a lot of people reference that as like your storefront. And then a group is like when you come in and you get to feel like the behind the scenes things. And it's not just so much like pretty stock photos, and text. It's like you get to really know the people, and just connect with them a little bit more. Plus the reach is better. Like I said, Facebook pages are, I think it's like 0.02%. Like, they don't really see a lot of your content that you're putting up there, but if they're in your group, they will see when you post and when people like respond to it. So it's just, they're more aware of it because they're seeing it.
Awesome. See, this is exactly why everyone that's watching and listening, why you need to get in touch with Nicole. Because you learn great things like this, because that is something that I didn't know. Now, I guess when you kind of, took a step back from, the farm, and you wanted to go back into marketing, kind of, because like I said, you had taken a break from, I guess, being directly into marketing. Was it was it a lot for you to relearn or to get readjusted to when you decided to go back into it?
Not a whole lot, because for the farm, I did a lot of the marketing. So, I did all the social media, and I did, I built our website and kept it up. We put on different events that I coordinated. So again, it was just kind of, well, and then with digital marketing, the agencies, that was kind of different because I was moving from like the person doing it to being more of like a project manager of them, helping them do it. So it was kind of having to change that, but still using a lot of the strategies that I learned along the way. But it was really neat because then I got the aspect of helping them understand what they're doing and then them being able to do it themselves as well.
Gotcha. So when you think about, your marketing agency, who are kind of the target customers for your agency?
Yeah, so a lot of mine are brick and mortar. And so like this last year has just been brutal on them, but that's the main reason why they come, because they know they should kind of be doing digital marketing, which they're not really exactly sure what all that entails. And so it's more like a lot of the online businesses, they don't really need my help because they're, doing social media, they're doing search engine optimization, they know how to email and things like that. It's more of like, I would say my customers are probably like 45 to 50-ish, have had their business for quite a while. They have, like, if they don't want to actually do it, their employees will do it. So they know they should be doing it, but they're not exactly sure exactly what to do or how to do it. In this last year, just pivoting even more so, being online with having to close down and open back up. Definitely like jewelry stores, real estate agents, I have quite a few lawyer, like attorneys. So just those, brick and mortar kind of businesses.
Okay. So now when you think about like some of the businesses in your kind of target audience that you've been helping, what's been some of their feedback or kind of their response after working with you for some time?
Yeah, well, the majority of my clients have been with me for multiple years, so I guess that's a good sign. Like since I opened in 2016, it just really, we have our meetings and they get, they're getting results, they're getting what they want, they're getting more clients, they're getting better conversions. That's another thing too. We kind of start out with what their goals are because different businesses have different goals. Like, yes, we all want to make more money, but there's different avenues of, kind of getting to that. We're hitting the goals and we adjust when we need to. We keep track of KPIs so they know exactly what's going on and, why it's happening. Because that's the problem I've seen a lot of business owners too, when they come to me, they'll have people doing stuff for them, but they don't know what they're doing or what results they're getting. And, they're paying like $4,000 in Google ads, but they haven't gotten one lead, and it's like, okay.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, why? And it'll come out too that they're saying like, well, I'm scared. I don't know what kind of questions to ask. And so it just kind of keeps going. And, as a small business owner, that's hard. You can't afford to just kind of keep putting money out, but not understanding or getting any results. So help a lot with that too.
Okay, awesome. So if someone's interested in your services, where can they find you online or how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so my website is just nb.marketing. And then that's where I am on social media too, like Instagram, Facebook, like nb.mktg, so marketing shortened. I'm kind of dipping my toe in Clubhouse. That's kind of cool. So same handle, but it's nb.marketing. And then I have all the links on my website too. So.
Awesome.
And there's a free download of like that foundation that I was talking about. So it's like an 18-page workbook that you can get to work through your messaging and goals and who your ideal customer would be if anybody needs that.
Awesome. That is amazing. You mentioned Clubhouse. I'm very curious as to what has been kind of your experience so far with Clubhouse.
I know it's kind of crazy. Like at first I was like overwhelmed because I didn't understand how to use it because it's not like anything we've ever experienced. But it's been really neat. Like I've been on a few clubs with like really people that I look up to, like Jay Shetty or Lewis Howes was on the other day. And it's really neat because you can get access to people that you would have never heard before. And you can actually ask questions and it's in real time and none of it's saved. So you can't just like catch the replay. So there's been a lot of people sharing a lot of really valuable content. We'll see where it goes. Like I'm always leery to jump on a new platform. Like I'm not on TikTok or Snapchat or anything like that, but people really seem to be flocking over there. So we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Yeah, that's been interesting to get, access to hear conversations that before you probably would have just never been exposed to. So it is. And I think it's that ability to be able to ask questions because I'm still figuring it out. Like, what was so funny is that I had messaged someone that was on Clubhouse and I messaged them on LinkedIn and they had mentioned something. I sent them a note to say, hey, thanks for this comment. This really stood out to me. And they were like, oh, great. Glad it did. And they were like, I added you as a member. And I'm like, well, what does that mean?
Yeah, I'm like a doorway, a hallway, a club. Like, where am I supposed to be in this?
I think that's a good thing, but I don't know what it means.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I was having a conversation the other day with someone and they were like, well, I wonder how they're going to monetize it. Cause right now it's free. And then this weekend I was listening to one, I can't remember what he has, like hundreds of thousands of followers. And he was like, make sure to click the green house and join my club because they're going to start charging for them. And I was like, oh, so now that's how they're going to eventually start monetizing it. But for now it's seems like the wild, wild west, and everybody's just on there and talking and all kinds of stuff. There's rooms that like they will continually leave open for like 48 hours straight. It's crazy.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they must have like a time shift, like, hey, you need to show up at XYZ to keep the conversation going for the next 2 hours.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Awesome. Well, when you think about, like I said, your amazing experience from marketing, from running a small business, now back into marketing, helping small businesses, what are 2 pieces of advice or lessons that you've learned in your journey that you think would be beneficial to other business owners?
Yeah, so I think the first one is, just start. Like I know, when we start to market ourselves, we start to put ourselves out there, it's kind of scary. And just being kind of vulnerable to know that it's, might not be perfect, but it is a step in like helping you just get started. Because like I said, also too, with like my podcast, like I was kind of scared to start that, but I've gotten so much business from it. It's been so worth it, but it was way out of my comfort zone and it was not pretty. If you like go back and listen to my early ones, and it still isn't like crazy polished, but it's me, and it's a way to connect with people. So just start and, just know that you'll refine along the way. And then, yeah, like I said, too, just really having that foundation in place is so critical, because it really helps you figure out what you're going to, like how you're going to effectively market without wasting time. Like we're so busy doing other things as business owners that, we should just focus on like the channels and the people that we're trying to reach, so that will just save you so much more time. And plus it'll help your business grow because you'll be resonating and growing. So just those 2 things.
Awesome. I love it. And before we go, can you tell us about the podcast and the name of it and where can people find it?
Yeah. So it's called Bubbles and Biz, and it's everywhere you listen to podcasts. So like iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, all of those things. And I ship my guests a bottle of champagne, and we just chat about our entrepreneurial journey, apps we love, work-life balance. I have a few coming up that are going to be like specific. So I'm talking to a sales coach soon, and he's going to just share all the beans about how to effectively like show up to a conversation and sales and all of that stuff. Cause I feel like that too is a area where some business owners, we get a little leery, like you don't want to be salesy. So like, how do you do it effectively? So that one's going to be fun. But yeah, so it's on all the major places.
Awesome. And I can definitely attest that, when the champagne shows up, it is a great treat. I actually put it on my Instagram stories when it showed up, opening the box. It was definitely an amazing touch to your show. So I really appreciated the hospitality. And also thank you so much for coming on my show to share your story, to talk a little bit more about your business. Really enjoy having you on, Nicole.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, this is so much fun.
Thank you for tuning in to the Business Talk Library. If you like our content, be sure to follow us on social media. And if you want to see more of our exclusive content, you can subscribe and become a member on patreon.com/Business Talk Library. Hey, the Business Talk Library is the place where business makes sense.